Lying down in Shavasana. If you like, you can bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Noticing the movement of your breath, the rise and fall of your abdomen. Taking your time to fully arrive here. And as you're taking note of the movement of your breath, notice if your breath comes labored or if it flows easily. And then as you bring your awareness to your body, also feel the weight of it on the floor, making sure that your muscles are relaxed, knowing that you don't have to hold yourself up, the floor will hold you. So let it, softening. And notice where your body falls heaviest onto the floor. Allowing the rest of your body to follow that suggestion. And letting go and falling heavy. And then as you soften, as you feel every inhale, every exhale, keep your awareness on your body and ask yourself, for today's practice, am I this body? And really take your time to ponder here, to let this question to yourself sink in. You might have a yes or no answer at the ready immediately. But instead of allowing yourself to jump to a conclusion, explore the possibilities. Am I this body? Then from here, as you're ready, slowly bring the soles of your feet together into your butterfly, pressing yourself up and onto your elbows to come all the way up to seated. As you arrive here, you can take your feet further away from you if you want something a little bit less intense. You can keep your feet closer to you if you want something more intense. And if you feel like your knees are very high above your hips, or if your spine is rounding a lot, for example, if you look like this, then maybe take a block and sit on top of the edge of a block or a pillow, a cushion, whatever you have at hand. So, for example, we could be sitting up like this, tipping the pelvis forward, breathing in to hold onto the ankles, and then breathe out to slowly pull your heart upwards first, and then forward and then down. Maybe your hands move from your ankles to the floor. Maybe your forehead is supported by a block. And bringing yourself again into the subtleties of this moment, feeling the pull of gravity on your forehead, your arms, your hips, and your knees. And as always, just make sure that you are in the orange zone of your posture. Green being completely comfortable, feeling nothing. Red being feeling in pain. Orange being, orange being a good amount of sensation, but definitely no pain. And then again, as you're here, ask yourself the question, am I this body? Or maybe is this body just my container? And if your answer is an obvious no, then remind yourself of all the times that you felt defined by it, by the way that you look, maybe restricted or liberated. Maybe you still feel that way in some ways or sometimes. And if that is so, and if you answer no to the question, am I this body? Then maybe you can allow yourself to let go of these things that you might have felt have defined you in the past. Knowing that you are more. However, if you feel like your answer is yes, I am this body, then And ask yourself and remind yourself about all the times that you've spent time with the people that you love, your family, your friends, your partner. Is their relationship to you just based on this body, on this vessel, or is there more? Am I this physical body? Staying here one more minute, observing without creating attachment to the observed. If you notice any distracting thoughts, simply bring yourself back to the right here, the right now, your practice. And as you inhale, gently bring yourself back up to seated. Taking your block out of your way. And then from here, we bring the knees together. Find a wall nearby, or a door is also fine, as long as you know that nobody will come into that door. And we bring ourselves close to it, taking your feet up the wall. Take your butt as close to the wall as you possibly can. Ideally, it should be touching. And then we simply lay down all the way onto our spine. If you want, feel free to take a pillow underneath your neck. Although if you have a healthy spine, a healthy neck, you probably wouldn't need to. And again, maybe one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Taking a few easy breaths. Noticing how gravity does its work here. Draining your legs. Allowing your spine to rest fully on your mat. And start to observe your mental space here. Are there any thoughts or any feelings, emotions coming up? And if so, you can ask yourself, am I these thoughts or am I these feelings? Just observing, just asking. And then from here, gently bend your knees, placing your feet flat against the wall. You're going to take your right ankle and place it on top of your left knee. If you're a little bit stiff, you might need to take yourself further away from the wall. Otherwise, you can stay here. And the more you bend your knee, your left knee, that is, the more intense the posture is. You can use your right hand to press your right knee away gently, opening up the hip, making sure that your tailbone is still heavy on the floor. It should not be lifting off. And if you feel like your knee is so far away that your right elbow is floating, maybe you can take a pillow, a bolster, a block underneath the elbow so that you don't wear out your right arm. And breathing into your right hip. Again, making sure that you are in that orange zone, in that happy intermediate. Closing your eyes again. And asking, am I my thoughts? Or perhaps are my thoughts fleeting and changing? Maybe there's more to me. Last minute here. Gently releasing your right foot, placing it back on the wall, keeping your right knee bent. And then taking your left ankle, placing it on top of the right knee. And the more you bend the right knee again, the more intense the stretch. The straighter the leg up the wall, the less intense. Using your left hand to press your left knee away gently if you need. Of course, if you feel that there is plenty of stretch without that support, then you don't need to do it. And maybe you want to bring one hand back to your heart, one to your belly, whatever has your preference. Making sure your tailbone is heavy and your body is relaxed. And you keep observing in the self, asking yourself, am I these emotions? And just making sure that as you're here, you're not secretly holding any tension anywhere. For example, your right toes, ankle, legs, the left arm. Everything is soft. And again, ask yourself and allow yourself time to wonder, to explore. Am I my emotions? Or are emotions ever changing, ever fleeting, while the core of I persists? Am I something else? We gently unravel both feet on the wall, walking your feet down to hug your knees in, and then gently roll over onto your right side so that we can come up all the way to our mats and onto our bellies. Coming all the way down, taking your forearms forward. And again, maybe you want to take a block or a pillow underneath your chest, coming into Sphinx pose. maybe a block underneath your chin or your forehead. Making sure that if you set yourself up on the block with your head, that your neck is relaxed and that it's not cranked up. Staying here for 4 minutes. Again, making sure that you're definitely feeling something in your physical body. But then also don't worry about it too much for this practice. And just observe. If you do want to make it slightly more intense, you can also take your feet together. If you want to make it less intense, you can take your feet a little wider. Closing your eyes once more. This time, ask yourself, am I my experiences? Am I my past? And then as you ask, simply observe whatever comes up without latching on to any answers. Allow yourself time to find an answer. Slowly come up, releasing your props. And then we come back onto our forearms, sliding the left leg up to 90 degrees, lifting the left elbow, and then bring your right shoulder blade all the way over to the left side of the mat. From there, we will open into a twist. Taking an inhale to lengthen, creating space between your crown and your tailbone. And then exhale to rinse a little deeper. If you feel like your left leg is not touching the floor enough, or your left shoulder blade is floating, you can bring your left shoulder blade down to the floor by rolling a little bit further onto the spine. And maybe place a block underneath your left ankle. Only if you need. And then once you settle, we return to the practice. Am I my experiences? And they might have shaped me, helped me form, but are they who I am? Keep observing. When you're ready, returning to center, lifting your left hand, placing it next to your face so that you can unravel. Coming back onto our elbows, sliding the left elbow down, the right elbow up to 90 degrees, no higher. lifting your right elbow and then weaving your left shoulder blade all the way under towards the right side of the mat, rolling open. Then taking any props that you like. Breathing in, creating space in between your vertebrae. And exhale to rinse. Keeping your eyes closed, your focus inwards. And start to observe the space behind your closed eyes. Notice the stillness, the calm. And simply keep your focus here. If thoughts pass, you let them pass. And it is said in yogic philosophy that the self, the true self, resides behind the eyes, the calm observer. So take note of and connect with this space here. And notice the peace that comes. The peace that comes with that connection to the serene, to the self here. Gently continue to roll all the way over onto your spine. Recenter yourself on your mat once you get there. And maybe when you're here, you take a big stretch, lengthening the whole of your body. Exhale to release. Bending both knees again, bringing the soles of your feet down to the floor. Lifting your hips up into your half bridge, bringing either a block or a pillow underneath your hips. And feel free to take this as high or as low as you like. And maybe you feel like, if you feel like taking in more sensation here, you can straighten the legs into your full bridge. For a deeper back bend, a bigger stretch, maybe even for your hip flexor. And we stay here for 5 minutes from now. If you feel like opening the shoulders a bit more, feel free to take your hands up and over your head. Allowing yourself to fall heavy again. And then reconnecting with that space behind your eyes. Observing, who am I? Maintaining your focus on your practice. One more minute here, observing the self without judgment, without attachment to how things maybe are supposed to be in your mind, and just observing, experiencing right here, right now, with just yourself. If your legs are straight, bend both knees in to place the soles of the feet back on the floor, walking your elbows in and closer to your shoulders so that we can press ourselves all the way up with our support underneath us. Or if you prefer, you can simply come up in any way that you like, taking our props away. And then when you're up, cross your ankles so that you can plant your hands and step back into tabletop. Taking a moment just for our wrist, placing our hand palms facing up, fingers face us, little rock back, little rock forward, squeeze your fingers into a fist, and then gently flip your hands back around, taking the right leg on the outside of the right hand, sinking your hips forward. And if you prefer, you can let your hands frame your foot to let your torso rest on your thigh. Up to you. Either staying here without props or maybe stacking two blocks so that they can support your head. Really opening up your hips, allowing them to sink down towards the floor. And if this is too much, you can also place a cushion or a pillow underneath your right hip, or maybe shorten the distance between your right foot and your left. Making sure that your right knee is not falling away too far from the midline. Keep it somewhat close to your right shoulder. And here as well, eyes are closed, focus is inwards, observing the self, asking yourself the question, who am I? Gently stepping your right foot back and your left foot forward, either on the inside or the outside of your hands, letting your hips melt forward. Your awareness inwards. One more minute here. Gently make your way up, shifting your weight back. And then however you get there, sitting all the way back, taking your right leg forward. So both feet out and in front of you. Getting ready for our last asana today. Making sure your bum is out of the way, feet can stay hip width or together, up to you. Knees ever so slightly bent. Inhale, we lift our arms up. Pull your heart up towards the sky. Imagine that it's attached to a string lifting up towards the ceiling, and then we fold all the way forward. Grabbing either the feet, the ankles underneath the knees, or simply letting the hands rest on the floor. Closing your eyes when you get there. Returning to the space behind your eyes. Again, noticing the space, the stillness. And we ask ourselves the question, who am I? Without again rushing to answers, allowing them to reveal themselves to you to develop over time. Knowing that good things take time and can't be rushed. Keep your mind on your practice. Your awareness inwards. Breathing in to gently roll yourself all the way up to seated. Once you're up here, roll your shoulders up, back and down. Taking your feet at least hip width if they weren't already to bend your knees, placing the soles of your feet down, and then gently roll yourself all the way down onto your mat. Breathing in to make yourself as tall as you can. Reach your hands up, your toes down. And then exhale to bring both of your knees into your chest. Give yourself a big squeeze. Bring your nose to your knees. Tense every single muscle in your body. You squeeze, squeeze, tense, tense, tight, tight. And then as you exhale, rolling wide for Shavasana, allowing yourself to take up space, taking a big breath in and a big yet gentle breath out. Another big breath in, filling up belly, chest, throat, opening up your mouth, big sigh out. One more big breath in and out. Allowing your body to fall fully heavy onto the mat. Again, noticing gravity pull your body in. Allowing the floor to carry you. You don't have to do anything for it. And once more, as you're here, you bring your awareness to that space behind closed eyes. You observe this space and this calm. And from that space, allow yourself to soften, softening eyebrows, jaw, allowing your head to fall even heavier on the floor, your eyes into their sockets, softening your shoulders, your arms, your hands and your fingers, your chest and your upper back, your belly and your lower back, your hips and your pelvis, your upper legs and your knees, calves and shins, your ankles and your heels, softening all the way down to your feet and your toes. Allowing your full body to fall heavy, to rest and to fall into repair. leaving the question of who am I open for you to ponder or answer in your own time whenever it is right. And as you lay here, even though you are more than your body, take a moment to thank your body for carrying you, for being your vessel. Take a moment to thank yourself for showing up and taking time for yourself and for your practice. And allow yourself the time here today to truly rest and stay here for however long you like or however long you need. And then when you feel ready, you take a gentle breath in through your nose to your belly, waking up the very ends of your body. Maybe rolling onto one side from Shavasana corpse pose into our fetal pose, using one arm as a pillow. And when you're ready from here, you gently make your way all the way back up to seated.